feel like I'm really not in the picture.
You are. You're just tiny. Hey guys, Dr. Barry and Sick Nisha here. We've had quite the hectic day. Sorry that we're late. Here we are. So if you know anybody in the group who was wanting to catch this, maybe shoot them a message really quickly so that they can log on. Because I know that we're behind schedule by how long? Like a long time?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Please forgive me for my tardiness.
47 minutes.
It's 47 minutes. It's been quite the day. And yes, this is not just water. You'll forgive me again. Now, let's see what's going on
Here is
here.
the question.
We've already got some questions you guys have typed in, so we're going to start
here.
going through
Right
those.
here.
I know. Hey, Angela, we'll get to yours in a second. Let me start at the beginning here. Gotcha. Okay, here we go. Let's let a few more people, and you guys know if you're watching this on the replay that you can still leave your questions in the comments, right? And we'll try to come back and answer them in the next day or two. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Sandy. Okay, we got 20. Let's go. Okay, Christopher says, how much potassium does lisinopril cause your kidneys to retain when on a small dose? And how much should one on lisinopril reduce daily potassium intake to compensate? Very good question. I'm guessing from this that you've had high potassium at your doctor's office. Some people can take lisinopril and their potassium is always fine. Other people, it causes them to retain too much potassium. So if that's you, you can either ask your doctor to switch you to a blood pressure pill like losartan, and it does not do that. Lisinopril is a great blood pressure pill, but losartan does exactly the same thing. It works almost exactly the same, but you look very cute on camera, even though you don't feel good. Sorry, you're very cute.
Swollen.
You look swole or swollen.
Swollen.
So yeah, but now if you want to stay on lisinopril, then you just need to make sure you're not taking a potassium supplement, of course. And then I really don't want to tell you to cut down on potassium-containing foods because that's all the good foods. And so I'd really love it if you just switched to Cozar, which is losartan. Next.
How often do you get the labs done?
Oh, so Helen asked, how often should one get their labs checked? And
Your list.
Oh, my list. And so it depends on your age and it depends on your medical conditions. If you're 30 and you're in perfect health, then once every year or two. If you're over 40, I'd say every year. If you're over 50 or if you're over 40 and you have 2 or 3 medical conditions you take medications for, then every 6 months. But over 50, I would say every 6 months. And then if you're over 60, 65-ish, probably every 3 months. Okay, and I know that you're like, damn it, that's a lot of labs, but what we're trying to do here is we're trying to live to be 110 and be healthy that entire time. And in order to do that, you've got to keep a close eye on stuff like your potassium, which you can't really feel if it's high or not until you have your blood work checked. And so I have people sometimes say, Doc, can't you give me a year's worth of refills? And they're 70, and I'm like, no, because I got to know what your potassium is and your magnesium. I got to know what your kidney and liver function are. And so, hey, Jackie, hey, Sue. So that's why. And so if you're young and healthy, once a year, once every 2 years. But as you get older, being 40 being a cutoff, you need to go to once a year definitely. And then 45, 50, 55, you need to probably go to every 6 months, and especially if you're taking 1 or more prescription medications.
What's cage-free from this grocery store mean?
Apparently,
it just means that they have to open the door.
It basically doesn't mean much. What all you guys need to do, and I don't care if you live in metropolitan New York City or if you live in the Netherlands of New Zealand, you've got a neighbor within driving distance who has chickens in their backyard. Okay, even if it's illegal to have chickens in some cities, which is retarded, but it is illegal. They can have 2 or 3 hens and they never crow, right? So nobody knows they have chickens. So I guarantee you've got a neighbor within a mile or two who has at least 1 or 2 or 3 chickens. Get those eggs. You want those eggs because first of all, it's shitty the way they treat the chickens, right? And secondly, it's I know, save that beautiful voice, but it also, you get more omega-3 and you get more vitamin D from real chickens that run around and play in the backyard and chase bugs. Those eggs are, the yolks of those eggs are much more healthy, okay? There are chickens in Houston, absolutely, Mark. We were just in Houston, and I guarantee you, you got some chickens within 2 miles of you.
Cindy.
You may have to put on Facebook, hey, who's got some invisible chickens? Private message me. Cindy, oh, hey, Cindy Gale. Is bile salt necessary if you don't have a gallbladder? Number one. And number two, can you drink too much coffee? So bile salt for some people without a gallbladder is vital. They stay in the bathroom if they don't use it. Other people, their liver ramps up bile production and they never need bile salt. So it just depends on you. When you eat a good, fatty ketogenic diet, do you have a lot of diarrhea? If you do, you may need some bile salts. If you don't, then you don't. And then number two, can you drink too much coffee? No. Well, maybe. It's different for different people. Dang, we got 50 people on. Hey, guys, thank you so much for being patient with me. Some people can drink too much coffee, and it'll affect their cortisol. Me, I don't think I could possibly drink too much coffee. I drink it all the time, and I feel great. I got plenty of energy. But some people, yes, you can. And so it's one of those hacky things that we have to do with keto is you try 2 weeks without coffee, try 2 weeks with a cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and then just find where you do great. Hey, Kayla. Diana. Hey, Diana. I have been checking my blood glucose numbers even though I'm not diabetic. It has been 5.1, which is beautiful. I'm going to be checking with artificial sweeteners to see if it goes up an hour. Does that mean I have insulin resistance? And so, according to your A1C, your blood sugars are doing very well. Diana, you need a C-peptide checked. And if it's even 1/10 of a point high, then you have some insulin resistance. You can also check your waist to height ratio. And if it's above 0.5, then you may have some insulin resistance. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Georgie. Next is Kathy. Kathy says, I am diagnosed diabetic, although my A1C is 5.4. My doctor says I will always be considered a diabetic on my records. That's true for the insurance purposes, which sucks. Yep. My doctor wants me to take my glucose readings as soon as I wake up in the morning. Yeah, don't do that. You guys all know to wait 1 hour before you check your blood sugar or your blood pressure because of the dawn effect. Your doctor just didn't know about that. Yeah, you're understanding correctly. Maybe have him watch my video about the dawn phenomenon because a lot of doctors forget that. We're taught that in med school, but we're taught a lot of stuff, and he may have just forgot that. So don't be rude. Just send him a link on Facebook or something and say, hey, watch this. Is this guy nuts or is that really a real thing? And then he'll Google it, and he'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe wait 30 minutes or an hour. But, yeah. So, yeah, you're always going to be considered a diabetic by the insurance company, but that doesn't mean you really are. As long as your A1C is 5, 6 or under, you're not. You have cured that, but you got to keep eating keto to keep it cured. What's the next one? Danette. Hey, Danette, I have been using the bioidentical hormone cream you prescribed for a month. How long will it take for the hot flashes to stop? However many... No weight loss in this month as well. So however many clicks you've been using Danette, you need to bump it up 1 more click. Do that for 2 weeks, and then if you're still having hot flashes, bump it up 1 more click. And keep doing that every 2 weeks until you go, no hot flashes. And then also that'll be basically your dose that you need, whether that's 3, 4, 5, or 6 clicks. Georgie, hey Georgie says, some days when I'm getting my fat intake up, I feel great. Other days I get really nauseous and have a headache. I'm generally eating the same meals. I put a little pink Himalayan on my tongue, but I do have to lay down for a little bit. I will say after my surgery, I do have so much more energy and feel 1,000,000 times better, but this still happens every once in a while. So what kind of surgery did you have, Georgie? And some people, when they're eating more fat than they're used to, they'll get nauseated. That definitely happens. But that should get better as your liver and if you still have a gallbladder. I think maybe you had your gallbladder out. Seems like I remember that. But as your liver is able to ramp up bile production slowly over the months, the nausea will get better. Vicky. Hey, Vicky. Do I need to take my own Kerrygold or Mayo on the low-carb cruise? If not, are items... okay, so if any of you guys don't know, we're going on the low-carb cruise in September. If you'll go to lowcarbcruise.com, we would...
lowcarbcruiseinfo.com.
Info.com. Okay, sorry. You posted a link, didn't you? Okay. We would freaking love it if all you guys would go. Okay? That'd be awesome. But you need to take Kerrygold butter. You need to take your own salt. You need to take a power strip because there's only 2 plug-ins in the entire little cabin. What else did they not?
Stevia.
You take your own stevia or monk fruit, absolutely.
MCT oil.
Yep,
If
you
put
use
it in
MCT,
a shampoo bottle.
yep. If you use MCT oil, you can clean out a shampoo conditioner
Just buy
bottle
a travel one. Don't
Yep,
clean out one.
right.
That's disgusting.
and fill it out. Oh, they said the audio's stalling or something? Okay, so everybody's hearing me now. Okay. So, yeah, you guys, that's what you need to bring on the cruise. I bet if you watch
And
this
your
on
own
the...
salt.
Yeah, bring your own salt. Get some Redmond's real salt. And that's
Make
the
a lot of
stuff.
friends if you bring
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
And so this one lady, Keto Carol, you can check her out. She's on Facebook, but she brought this little, like a pill container full of Redmond's real salt, and she shared it with the table at dinner. And I got some Kerrygold, and I brought an entire brick and shared that with dinner. And so that made us big celebrities because we had butter and salt. But I can't think of anything else you really need. I think that's it.
You have to, like the first day that you're there, you have to make sure that you tell them you need veggies.
Yeah,
And
tell them don't.
avocado.
Yeah, because they're gonna. It's not a keto cruise. It's just a group going on a regular cruise. And so when you'll hopefully be assigned to a keto table, tell them don't bring me bread, bring me extra butter, they'll bring broccoli and cauliflower and asparagus for the table if you ask them for that. And so
You got to ask for avocado ahead of time.
yeah, and you got to ask for avocado ahead of time. Yep, exactly. Vicky said no. Priscilla said, are there any outward signs I could look for to see if I'm fat adapted? I don't have a ketone blood meter. Yeah, Priscilla, what you can do is when you forget a meal, like you look up and it's 2 p.m. and you didn't eat lunch, you're fat adapted. When you've got this calm, constant energy, you're like very calm mentally, but you're getting stuff done, that's keto. That's how you know. But that's, for me, that was my 2 ways. Do you know of any others that you...
That's the main thing. You just...
Yeah.
Don't get as hungry.
You're just not hungry. When you normally would be hungry, you're like, yeah, I'm not hungry.
Or you look up and it's 2:30 and you haven't eaten anything.
Exactly. That's how you know you're keto adapted, yeah. Trudy, hey Trudy, what's the take on the remade carby
Healthy,
foods? And
sweet
yeah,
stuff.
so you get any product, you guys should know what I think about
No,
this.
not product. She's just saying.
Oh, like if you make it yourself. Oh, okay. So if you make remake some kind of cake and you use almond flour and erythritol or stevia, then I think that's still better than the standard American alternative. It's much better. But if you're eating too many nuts, and so if you eat a handful of almonds, that's one thing. But if you eat a handful of almond flour, that's a bunch more almonds because all the empty space, right, is out. So it's just solid almond. And so that might be like eating 6 handfuls of almonds, which would be more carbs. And so you just have to account for that. But I think it's infinitely healthier than eating the standard American cake. John says, I have been adding MCT 2 tablespoons in the morning and at the end of my eating window on days where I fall short of my fat intake. This tends to keep me in keto. Yeah, perfect. I love it. No, John, that's perfect. You can also do that with bacon grease. You can also do that with avocado oil, or you can do it with room temperature olive oil. Any of those are fine for that. But I tend to think that MCT and butter are probably the 2 best to do that with. That's a perfect strategy. Georgie says, I do want to say I've been doing this since October, so I'm sure I'm fat adapted. Is there a possibility that I'm not? No, probably, Georgie. If you're eating good strict keto that's very fat heavy, you're probably fat adapted and keto adapted, yeah. Karen says, hey, Karen. What is your take on probiotics? They were not among your list of most needed supplements. If you're eating good keto and you're eating lots of good raw vegetables, you're going to be getting bacteria.
Unless you're on a strong antibiotic.
Yeah, if you're taking an antibiotic, then you need to supplement always with probiotics. And if you're having gut issues, then I would recommend getting a good quality probiotic from the health food store and taking a bottle of that. But often you don't need probiotics, especially like if you're buying local produce and you're growing your own herbs out in the garden. If you do that, never wash them. Okay, if they've got bug poop on them, good. That's good. That's good for you. Tell them I never wash ever. If I pick some cilantro or some basil or some anything, I never ever wash
Out of
it.
our garden,
Yeah, out of our
from
garden. That's right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you grow it yourself, never wash it. You want it to have bug poop on it. And if there's little aphids and little bugs, good. Eat those too. They're good for you. Okay, that's how you get real probiotics. But if you're having gut issues, constipation, diarrhea, or bloating, take a good quality probiotic. But I don't think you need it all the time. Kara Morris Jackson. Hey, Kara says, should I be taking K2? What's the benefit of it? So K2 is kind of a new thing. 5 years ago, we talked about taking vitamin D3. You definitely need that, but more and more people who are thinkers in the community think you probably need some K2 so that if you do have any calcification in your arteries, it looks like that it tends to pull that calcification out of the artery and put it back in the bone where it belongs, okay? So if you're taking vitamin D3, you might as well go ahead and get a combo. Next time when you run out, don't throw away your D3. Use it up, but then next time, buy some D3 that has K2 MK7, not MK4, but MK7 in it, and that's going to be perfection. Linda says, can switching to NDT raise my heart rate? Just started this month, and spike correlates to 30 milligram increase from 60 to 90 milligrams. I don't know, Linda. I don't know about that. Probably, I don't know. Let me think about that a minute. Let's see. Next question is, Vicky says, does keto help with PTSD? Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of brain condition is going to be improved, so the severity of the symptoms are going to be lessened by keto. Absolutely. So the autism, ADD, PTSD. I've had several vets, because I do a special thing. If a vet's too far from a VA hospital, they can come see me. And so I've had many vets, once they get on keto, they're able to decrease the meds that they were taking for PTSD. So absolutely.
Under a doctor's direction.
Yeah, under a doctor's direction. That's exactly right. Oh, I see. Okay. So maybe, okay, back to Vicky.
Linda.
No, oh, sorry. Linda, so if you're taking too much desiccated thyroid, then maybe, but your highest rate, it was just started this month. So what's your heart rate? What is the average?
85.
Oh, it's, yeah, the highest you got is 85. Don't worry about that. That's fine. That's still well within normal limits. Don't worry about that. Okay, Leslie. Oh, Leslie says, hi, Nisha. Okay, fine, Leslie. My husband is diabetic and on keto with me. His blood sugars have improved, and he has reduced his metformin. Beautiful. He has been taking a statin, but just recently stopped it. Beautiful, based on the new thinking. He's not losing weight, so could his meds be hindering that? He's diabetic and his blood sugars improved and reduced his metformin. So if the only thing he's taking is metformin, then definitely that's not hindering his weight loss. You didn't list any other medications, so I don't know what else he could be on. So if he's on something else, then message us back and let us know. But metformin will not stall your weight loss. Almost every other, there's three medications for diabetes that won't stall your weight loss. The biggest one's metformin. Next is acarbose, and the next one is the SGLT inhibitors. They won't, but all the rest of them will raise your insulin, and that'll slow down your weight loss. Apple cider vinegar pills versus liquid, Brenda asks. So Brenda, just get the liquid and suck it up and use it, because you know that that's got the mother in it. You know it's real. You see it in the bottle. Anytime somebody changes anything from a liquid to a powder, it worries me. That's just like MCT powder. Why? Just use the MCT oil. Why would you want to change? If you're traveling a lot, then maybe it'd be worth that. But otherwise, I would just use the real stuff. Summer says, just wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Hey, Summer, you're so welcome. We freaking love doing this, even when we're sick, don't we? Yeah. She had a question in there a bit. Keto and Ron, we thank you so much for that. Go to for info. Thank you. Yeah. Summer's in New Zealand. Excellent. I just did an e-visit with somebody from New Zealand. Okay, gout. I got awful pain in my ankle the other night that was completely unexplainable to me. Felt like a sprain, but hadn't sprained it. Couldn't get comfortable. Didn't walk on it. No pain meds. were working. Felt I said, oh my God, she wrote an epistle, but I fell asleep 4 hours and woke up perfectly fine. Yeah, could have been pseudo gout. There's also another crystal that can form temporarily in the joint that feels like gout. It's really real painful, like oh my God pain. But then gout probably wouldn't have went away in 4 to 8 hours. That was probably pseudo gout, not caused by keto. If that happens again, go see your doctor and get some labs checked. But it was probably pseudo gout. Molly, I recently had a urinalysis test for bladder infection. I noticed that my ketones were part of the test and it indicated none. Does that mean I'm not in ketosis? It means you weren't in ketosis at that moment. Yeah. And so
But, like, explain what,
Yeah, so
guys talked about that. It's like not even that doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that.
Like urine, but that doesn't mean you're not in ketosis because you're using ketones.
You're using the ketones, exactly right. So you guys all, if any of you guys are, I do. If any of you guys are using the pee sticks to check your ketones, stop that. Don't do that, because if you're making ketones but then you're using them for energy, you're not going to be peeing any extra out. See?
That doesn't mean.
So you could be in perfect ketosis and there not be any in your urine. Basically, the whole exogenous ketone bullshit fiasco, that's what got the urine ketone started, because they could prove that their product was putting ketones in your urine. Stop worrying about your urine ketones. Just eat keto. That's what you need to be doing, and stay super low carb. That's the whole key. Christy. Hey, Christy, is there such a thing as a blood glucose reading being too low? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely is if you're a type 1 diabetic or you're type 2 and you're taking too much medication. Or if you're a type 2 and you eat a huge glucose load or sugar load or starch load, and then all of a sudden it'll bottom out later. Or should that not matter as long as you aren't feeling symptomatic? Yeah, but now I'll tell you, more and more people who are eating keto, I'll see them in the office and their blood sugar will be 50 and they feel great, and their A1C will be 4.8,
but
and they're
like a different kind of 50 than the normal diabetic.
That's 50. Exactly right. And so if your blood sugar is 50 but you feel great, it's fine. If your A1C is 4.8 but you feel great, it's fine. We're learning as we go, because no one's ever eaten like this in modern times, right? When we had the ability to check this stuff. So all of the lab normal values have been calculated on people eating the standard American diet. And so these lab values weren't calculated for us. And so it's quite likely that for somebody eating strict keto for a long time, their blood sugar might be perfect at 50, right? And so, yeah, a lot of times if you're burning ketones for energy, you just won't have as much glucose in your bloodstream, and that's perfectly fine, like Sandy just pointed out. Angela, hey y'all, from Louisiana. My Hashi daughter started taking the 2 drops of 2% Lugol's, and her already enlarged thyroid started swelling after about a week. Any idea why? Yeah, so go see her doctor and ask her doctor about the Lugol's. She may not have Hashi. She may have another kind of autoimmune thyroiditis. Also have them check a urine iodine, like just a random urine iodine level. She may not need iodine. She may be getting it from some other source, and she may not need that. But now some people with Hashimoto's, their thyroid will swell initially, but then it'll get better. Go do some reading. If any of you guys have Hashi or hypothyroid, you need to be very familiar with a website called Stop the Thyroid Madness. That's where you're going to become educated about this. Okay? Who's next? Nikki, is there a way to find keto-friendly doctors? Yeah, everybody get a pen and start writing. If you can't come to Camden, Tennessee, here's how you find a keto-friendly doctor. You look on the following websites. One is ketogenic.com. That's got a list of doctors. The next is the Paleo Physician Network. And obviously, if a doctor understands paleo, then he's not going to be spooked by keto, right? The next is foodmed.net. And that has a growing list of keto doctors all over the world. And then the website about thyroid, Stop the Thyroid Madness. If any doctor is listed there, he's pretty much going to understand thyroid as well. Keto as well. Yeah. Rhonda says, stubborn postmenopausal, dangerous belly fat will not go away. Now, Rhonda, if the fat is on the outside, like you can jiggle it, I know you still hate it, but that's not nearly as dangerous as the fat that's on the inside. And the way you know you got fat on the inside is like you've got a hard belly, and it's usually a man you see like this. He's got a big belly, but if you touch it, it's hard. That means the fat is inside his muscles. inside his belly. That's the worst, most dangerous kind of fat. So if you've got fat on your belly and it's jiggly, like you can grab it, like have you seen the thing on Facebook where she's like rolling her belly fat with a rolling pin? It's a picture with a meme. It's pretty funny. But that kind of fat, even though you still hate it and you want to get rid of it, is not nearly as dangerous as the fat inside your abdominal cavity. CZ, hey C, please discuss carnivore protein kidneys. So, carnivore diet, if you're going to try that, you want it to be a fatty meat diet. You want to try to get 1-to-1 fat and protein if you can. That's number one. Number two, there's never been any medical research that shows that eating protein harms your kidneys. That is a medical myth. And that was almost made it in as one of the lies of my book, Lies My Doctor Told Me, but it is getting too long and I didn't want to put that in because it's so hard to explain that. A lot of doctors will say, oh, you're eating too much protein, that'll hurt your kidneys. That's bullcrap. That's never been shown or proven, okay? There are societies that ate strict carnivore their entire existence on this planet, and they lived to be ripe old humans, so I doubt they had kidney problems. And then kidneys, yeah. So eat your fat, eat your protein. Don't worry about your kidneys. Fat will not hurt your kidneys. Protein will not hurt your kidneys. What's the leading cause of being on dialysis right now?
Sugar.
Diabetes, right. And so what's going to kill your kidneys is carbs. So watch the carbs and don't worry about the protein. Good question. Jeremy says, been keto since 2016. Gallbladder showed mildly dysfunctional in 2011. Still having right upper quadrant pain. Is this yeah, that's the dysfunction. Your gallbladder, from eating the standard American diet for so many years, got weak. Just like if you put this arm in a cast for a year and then took it off, this bicep would be gone, this muscle. And so it would be very weak if I tried to do this. And that's what your gallbladder does when you eat fat. It does that. And your poor gallbladder is dysfunctional, and so you keep eating keto. It should be ultimately fine. You may want to go get an ultrasound and make sure you don't have sludge or stone. And if you do, then there's some cleanses that you can find on the internet. I don't recommend them. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you can go look for them because I've had multiple people tell me that they work. But they're too woo-woo. I can't, as a doctor, say go do a gallbladder cleanse, or I'd get drummed out of the trade. But just Google that. Nikki.
There was 2 parts.
Oh, well, that was 2 parts. Okay. Oh, okay. Also, any tips for going keto with kids? We have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old that we're starting on the keto paleo diet. Oh, that's wonderful. So if they're 3 and 5, first of all, everybody understand, if you got kids and grandkids, eating paleo is so much freaking better than eating standard American diet. So if you can get your kids on paleo, high-fat paleo, that's effectively keto, right? So let them eat lots of bacon and have some strawberries with their bacon. Let them eat lots of good, hamburger, and they can have some cantaloupe with their hamburger. But yeah, that's freaking awesome if you've got your 3 and 5-year-old eating that. So don't feel like you've got to make them strict keto at that age. Because as you guys all remember, when you were a kid, you could live on M&Ms and Coke and you still had a 6-pack and looked great, right? So and I'm not advocating that obviously, but I'm just saying if your kids are paleo, that's a huge victory. And then you can slowly, gently, lovingly move them towards keto. Yeah, that's awesome that you're doing that with your kids. Okay, Nikki, what are triglycerides and what does it mean when they are over 500? So triglycerides, that's 3 sugars stuck together, and it gets put in the lipid panel, so everybody thinks that triglycerides are fat and that they're caused by eating fat. But you're still eating too many carbs if your triglycerides are that high. Okay, you got to eat more strict keto, and those triglycerides will come right down. That's 3 sugars stuck together, and that's because you're eating carbs. Tracy says, any tips for night shift workers, especially pertaining to cortisol? Yeah, Tracy. First tip is to get off night shift as soon as you can. If you can't do that, then what you've got to do is you've got to protect your sleep time like platinum. You have to have a blacked out bedroom. You have to have a set sleep time that is inviolable. If the house is on fire, should be the only reason anybody ever knocks on your bedroom door. Otherwise, I don't give a damn. You need to not be disturbed while you're asleep. You need to have some white noise or some pink noise going. You need to have a cool, blacked out bedroom, and that's what's going to protect you and keep your cortisol. But it's still going to be high because you're on night shift. But that'll help as much as possible. And then you want to have no stress in your life. Otherwise, if you've got a stressful family member or any kind of stress in your life, it's got to go. okay, because your cortisol is already elevated a little bit, and you got to eat strict keto. Next is Peter. Hey, Peter, curious if keto can affect liver enzymes. Yeah, it can lower them. 4 months in and ALT's elevated. Never was before keto, minimal alcohol. So, yeah, a lot of times, Peter, when you're first starting keto, your liver enzymes will elevate for a few weeks and then they'll go back down. But I suspect you're still eating too many carbs. And it's hard for me to imagine that your liver enzymes weren't elevated before. So, yeah, we're both elevated after 3 months in. You can, and so Christy asked the same question. You can have some temporary liver function. Make sure you're not drinking too much alcohol. Make sure you're not taking too much Tylenol or ibuprofen, because all those things can elevate your liver function. And then make sure you don't have hidden carbs like with keto products, bars and shakes, Atkins bars and shakes, because those things are full of sugar alcohol. And if you're using a lot of sugar alcohols or artificial sweeteners, that can also bump your insulin enough to lay down some fat in the liver. Patty says, hi from Virginia. So glad to see you my first time. Oh, yay, Patty. So glad that you can join us. Janet says, how do you suggest we go about maintaining our weight once we reach our goal? Keep eating keto. Now, with that being said, some people can spread back out and relax back into paleo. And so you can add some sweet potato and you can add some limited fruit and you can hold your weight there. But if at any point you start to gain the weight back, tighten back up into keto. But keto is safe to eat forever. Our ancestors have eaten it for 1,000,000 years. But if you miss your sweet potatoes and you miss your melon and your fruit and stuff, then you can just go back paleo and you may or may not regain the weight. But if you start to gain weight back, go back keto again. Karen would like to know if diabetes drug Trulicity causes weight gain. Per product literature, it does not. Yeah, I agree. And I would love it if you could get off the Trulicity as soon as your doctor allows it. But it will control your blood sugar levels. And she actually says that. And so here's a good lesson for you guys. Hey, Joanna. So a lot of the diabetes medications will control your blood sugar. But if you've listened to enough of me and Jason Fung, you know that high blood sugar damages all your organs. But also high insulin damages all your organs too, right? And so if you're taking a blood sugar medication that lowers your blood sugar, but it does it by raising your insulin, you're still damaging stuff. And so many doctors don't understand that. And that's why I want you to take either metformin or acarbose or one of the SGLTs, and don't take any of the rest of them, because those three work by not raising your insulin to lower your blood sugar. But all the rest of them raise your insulin, and that's just as bad as a high blood sugar. It's a great question. Hey, Lori. Okay, Lori says, I don't like eating really fatty cuts of meat. Well, you need to get over that, hun. Okay, you need to eat your fatty cuts of meat. Why would you not like that? I just have a real aversion to fatty meat, and doing keto has been challenging. So I promise you, Lori, all your ancestors ate fatty cuts of meat and all the fat they could get their hands on. You got to get over that. And you can do it gradually. You don't have to just go in the kitchen right now and stuff some lard in your face, but you need to either start cooking with butter, start cooking with avocado oil, start cooking with lard. Find a way to get the fat. You got to get the fat in your diet. Absolutely. That's mandatory. Poor Nisha. Yeah, adding butter and good oils to the leaner meats is almost as efficient, Lori. But you got to basically dip that lean meat in butter before every bite, okay, to get enough fat. Sharon says, would like an e-visit in near future and some of the tests that are on your list I had taken in November when I had annual physical. Do I need to take them again for our first visit? So if you've never seen me face-to-face in Camden, Tennessee in my office, then I cannot order tests on e-visit. We can only do wellness coaching, right? So me giving you my ideas and you taking them back to your doctor. And I've had many people do that, and then they go tell their doctor, hey, I want this list of tests ordered. And if you have a good relationship, most doctors are like, okay, I don't care. I don't know why you'd want that, but I'll order it. But if you've seen me in Camden, Tennessee, then I can actually order your test for you. But, yeah, you probably, if it's been a few months, November, yeah, you probably need to get them done again, Sharon, so that you've got fresh tests. And then we can actually look at the 6 months ago and the currents. Sue says, hey, Doc and Nisha, welcome home. Does keto help those with Raynaud's? So Raynaud's is a condition, especially in smokers now, Sue, and any of you guys, if you smoke, you're canceling pretty much all your keto benefits. So stop smoking, okay? Stop smoking. And so if you smoke, vape. Vaping is 100 times safer than smoking. I don't care what they said on the news. You got to quit the damn smoking, okay? So if you smoke, so you got to quit smoking. So with that being said, yes, keto will decrease the inflammation to the point where your fingers don't get white and numb as often and as severely as they did before you were keto. But if you're smoking, it's going to cancel all that. I had a guy in the office who used to smoke. He lost his toes to Raynaud's, then he lost his foot, and then he lost his entire leg. And then when he lost a toe on the other foot, he said, you know what? I think I'm going to quit smoking. And so if any of you guys smoke, we can't be friends until you quit smoking, because that's literally, I mean, you might as well be smoking crack and saying, yeah, but I'm eating keto. No, 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 no. Stop smoking. Okay, enough preaching. Hey, Jessica, how's it going? Jessica Link. Occasionally you ask who you would like to see us. Andreas. Yeah, actually, I met Andreas Einfeld. He's the dietdoctor.com. He's that doctor. I met him on the cruise. He actually interviewed me, and there was some talk about flying Nisha and I to Sweden to actually work with Andreas. So that may be coming. I don't know. I haven't heard back from him since after the cruise, but yeah, I love Andreas. He's awesome. He's from Sweden. Also, based on your cruise, who would you like to interview with next? Oh, man, I love John Lemansky. I love Dave Feldman. I'd love to talk to Nina Teicholz. I'd love to talk to Ivor Cummings. Have you guys watched his videos? Ivor Cummings. He's amazing. He's also got a great accent. Who else? Jason Fung, of course. He's the big dog. I love him. Any of those guys I would love to talk to. So if any of you guys know any of those people, tell them I'd like to do a live with them or something. Susan says, please comment on Soleil water. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's probably not worth the expense, but if you love it, I think it's fine. Valerie says, have there been any studies done on the effect of many years of soy consumption on thyroid other than the book, The Whole Soy Story? And can eliminating soy consumption contribute to a healthier or totally healthy thyroid? Yeah, soy is bad for all of you, okay? It's especially bad for your thyroid. You need to get rid of the soy, all you guys. If any of you guys are using any soy protein, the only soy that is like a fermented, like a nate or whatever, that's probably not terrible. But soy otherwise, if it's processed, nope, it's a no-go, and it will mess up your thyroid. Rainey says, Doc, please address taking metformin for insulin resistance along with keto. Yeah. So I would like for you guys to get off all prescription medicines that you're on, with the exception of metformin, glucophage. If you're on that and your A1C is even 1/10 of a point high still, stay on your metformin. If your C-peptide is even 1/10 of a point high, stay on your metformin. Metformin, actually, a lot of the people in the life extension community use it because it looks like it decreases your risk of cancer and may help you live longer, and it definitely makes it less hard to lose weight. So yeah, if you're the least bit overweight, if your A1C is high, if your C-peptide's high, or you just want to live longer, keep taking your metformin. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Any of the other diabetic medications you want to try to get off if you can. Hey Georgie, the keto retreat is still it's on the drawing board. We're still trying to work on getting this piece of property that we're interested in. The keto retreat will be sometime within the next 3 months to 3 years. So you guys don't hold your breath, okay? That's just an idea we're kicking around. It's going to come. I promise it'll come, but I don't know when, okay? Because we're busy doing lots of stuff, and we're working on acquiring that property, but it may be a minute before we get it. So be patient on the keto retreat, but we're 100% committed to making that happen. Because we want you guys to all come. Wouldn't that be so awesome to all be sitting around in our big living room chatting like this instead of being on Facebook? I think that'd be so cool. Anisha says, I've been keto since 416 and I am currently on metformin. Stay on the metformin unless your A1C is normal, unless your C-peptide is normal, and unless your weight is normal. Then you can maybe consider stopping it. My doctor says she can get me off in 6 months. She wants to see 2 good A1Cs. Yep. However, today I just did my first 24-hour fast and I want to continue. Do your fasting. I think fasting's great. Just follow Dr. Fung's videos if you want to do longer fasting, or Jimmy Moore's videos. He does a lot of longer fasting. But if you're, like I said earlier, if your numbers are even 1/10 of a point high, it's probably in your best interest to keep taking the metformin or the glucophage. It's very safe. Jonathan says, will consuming fats like butter and coconut oil in my coffee on the day of getting my labs drawn throw them off? Probably not. But now if you put anything else in your coffee, it might. But the fat's not going to affect your triglycerides, and it's not going to affect your glucose. Those are the two things that might be affected by eating on the day of your tests. Shannon says, Ketorade and fasting, other than no sweetener, the lemon, sparkling water, ACV, all good for, yeah, you guys can use our Ketorade recipe on the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that, just go to YouTube and look for Dr. Ken Berry Gatorade or Ketorade, and you can look it up. It's easy to make. It costs $0.25 per gallon. And if you're going to sip on it while you're fasting, leave out any sweetener. But if you're going to use it during your feeding window, then you can add sweetener to taste. And 1 drop of cinnamon oil, essential oil will erase the apple cider vinegar taste if you hate that like I do. Linda says, what's allowed on carnivore? So any fatty cut of meat, and that's usually red meat, so lamb, beef, pork for sure, the fattiest cuts you can find. You can use chicken, but only use chicken legs and chicken thighs with the skin on, or chicken wings with the skin on. And then you're going to eat all the skin, you're going to eat all the gristle, you're going to gnaw the bones and get the cartilage off, because that's free collagen, right? You can, for me, I only eat egg yolks on carnivore because the white just has too much protein, and I'm trying to get a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. You can eat full fat real cheese from the deli that you watch them slice up. You can eat all the butter you want, all the ghee you want, and then some people eat just literal meat, but all those things are dairy or meat products. So you can eat all those things, I think, and I'm doing very well on just what I just told you. That's how I eat it. Molly said I had a urinalysis test done the other day. Oh, no, we already answered that. Is that all of them? Oh, 19 more. Hang on. Let me click right there. There's more. Thanks for the update. I feel better. Poor Nisha, man. She's not well right now. She's not bad sick, but she don't feel good at all. I think she went to bed. We know when you're, gotcha. Berkeley says, will the video be on this site? Oh, you mean with Andreas Einfeld, Dr. Einfeld? Maybe. It's definitely going to be on dietdoctor.com. And let me tell you guys, if you don't know about dietdoctor.com, that's an awesome website. It's a pay site, and it's $10 a month, but you don't have to do that. 90% of their content is free. Only like 10% is behind the paywall. You can watch hours of video from all the big movers and shakers in keto community on dietdoctor.com for free. But then if you want to sign up, it's probably worth it to pay $10 a month to be part of Diet Doctor. Just tell them Dr. Berry sent you. But I don't get any money out of that, and you probably don't need to do that if money's tight. But if you got money to blow, sign up for Diet Doctor because it helps them spread the message. Yeah. Let's see. He's still talking. Imagine that. Yeah, that's funny, Nisha. It is funny, actually. Let's see. Okay, so Reagan's got a great question. She's got a 16-year-old. She's taken to the doctor, and his A1C was 5.9. So he's already pre-diabetic at 16 years old. Fasting blood sugar is over 100. Yeah, so he's moving the direction. He's pre-diabetic, insulin resistant. He's moving that way. They may want to start him on metformin. If so, I think that's fine. But you've got to be moving him towards keto. Okay, and you can start out paleo, but it needs to be a high-fat paleo, and as quickly as you can lovingly move him towards keto, that needs to happen. Yep. Yeah, I did. I relaxed, regrouped, and I drank a glass, but it's not water. It's been a rough day. Okay. And so I think that's all the questions on here. If you guys have any other questions, here's a question. What if my ratio is 2-to-1 on carnivore, two fat to one protein. Tracy, that's freaking amazing. How the heck are you doing that? Private message me and tell me what you're eating on a daily basis, because I can barely get to 1-to-1 fat to protein, and that's eating fatty ribeye and fatty pork chops and cooking everything in bacon grease and then putting butter on top of it. And I'm barely getting to 1-to-1, so I don't know how the heck you're doing that. That's awesome, though. So Roy is a good question. What's a normal A1C and a normal C-peptide? It's different for different reference labs. So like LabCorp is going to be different than Quest. And so what you're going to do is look at the reference range, and if yours is even 1/10 of a point above that, you're insulin resistant. That's a good rule of thumb. And if your waist to height ratio is above 0.5, you're at least a little bit insulin resistant, and you need to work on that by continuing to lose that fat in the middle. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm going to save this and post it on Patreon for people who hate Facebook, because you know there's a lot of people who hate Facebook. But thank you guys. I love this interaction that we have here in this group, and you guys will never know how much we appreciate y'all support. Okay, you guys are amazing. You're helping us do all the things we're doing on Facebook and on YouTube and on Instagram, and even going on the cruise. I mean, Nisha would have been full time. We probably couldn't have went and learned everything that we learned to share with you guys. So I promise you, by helping us, you're helping so many people, and I can never, ever thank you enough. So we love you guys. Poor Nisha loves you too, and hopefully she'll be feeling better next time. And we'll check back. Keep leaving your comments, and we'll check back later, okay? See you next time.